All right. Make sure that's good. Good evening, and good evening. How is everybody tonight? I don't know why I say that. I just do. Let me kill the volume on my phone. Give me just a moment. All right. All right. So we're going to be talking about how everything that's going on around the world, what effect is that going to have on us as individuals? And we're going to talk about that a little bit. We'll talk about some other things, of course, I'm sure, as well. So, but I hope everybody is doing well. I hope you've had a nice weekend. It is Sunday. Lucky us here in New York. The weather sucked again today. Uh, yeah, it was. They said the high. Actually, I'll tell you what the temperature is right now. Hold on. Let's see what it says. Just for fun, I think they said our high today was going to be like 26 or 27. It's 26 right now, and it actually is going to go up through the night a little bit. Yeah, 'cause tomorrow's supposed to be warmer. So, but yeah, today we had more snow today. It snowed, more last night and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I'm so beyond done, guys. I couldn't even tell you. Again, I cannot wait to get out of here, get down to West Virginia and get started. Just getting something done, accomplishing something. I feel like I'm just wasting my time, sitting here. It drives me absolutely crazy. No, yeah, all the snow's melted. Not here, it hasn't. It came back. It melted and then it came back. So, but yes, that happens. But sunny here in West Tennessee. Yeah, and I was looking down in West Virginia today. It was like 46 today down there and sunny. Tomorrow's going to be in the 60s. It's just, yeah, like I said, I'm ready. I'm ready. I can't wait to get started on stuff and be active, and stop being fat and lazy. So that's just me. I've just had enough. I've been like my buddy's been busting my chops all winter long. He goes, "Are you ready to go to West Virginia?" And I keep telling him, "You have no idea. Stop. I don't need your paw on me to pet you. I'll show you." Pathetic. Laying her head on my leg and so anyway, uh, what? So before we get into the video, let's do the business end first. I would like this to be a very nice conversation with everybody, so I'm going to ask everybody to keep it family friendly. No racism, no nastiness. I want to keep it having this be good. And if you can't behave yourself and be nice to each other, then those awesome people with the blue wrenches will boot you out of here because we're just not going to tolerate that. We're just not going to. So I would just ask you all to be nice. So anyway, that's that. Hella always wants your attention when you're live. No, you don't understand, Sharon. Hella wants my attention all the time, live stream or not. If I get up and move around the house, she is right there. So she's a good dog, though. She's very, very loyal. I can't. I have no complaints with her, none. So okay. So that being said, yeah, we just trying to. This week's gonna be nicer here, though. So that's gonna, hopefully this everything will melt again and we'll get back to some semblance of normal. COVID is back at shut down one hospital in the UK. Okay, let's. I'm going to address something, and I got to just be careful how I address it. All right, so we're going to address something. I don't know if you guys saw that Barack Obama was just diagnosed with the virus, and I'm sure he was totally up on this, right? Of course. Now, the reason a lot of times, the reason a lot of times you get different these, right? The reason you get different those is to stop you from getting something, right? Um, it stops you from getting whatever you're trying to avoid. If you go and get something for it like that, for whatever, we're not going to narrow it down to one thing, but you kind of get my drift. You're getting it to prevent you from getting whatever is out there. That's why you get it, right? You don't get it for something that doesn't work. And I'm not saying, I'm not putting anything into a category, so I don't want to be accused of giving false information. We're just going to say in general. So if you're getting the polio shot, you got the polio shot so that you wouldn't get polio. You didn't get the polio shot so that if you took it and then, oh, you got polio anyway, right? Got polio anyway. Well, okay, here's the explanation. We realize that there's going to be these breakthrough cases of polio with the polio shot, but it's not going to be a bad case as polio um, if you didn't have the shot. It'd be much more milder. Does that make any kind of sense to anybody, or does anybody see the lunacy in that? And that's just a it's a question that I have. Not trying to promote anything, so I'm just putting that out there. That just doesn't add up to me. So that's just my take on all that. I have said, I have said, I believe that there will be another virus that comes along here or is released, if you will. Who knows? Who knows? I'm not saying that it will. I'm not saying that it won't. But I believe there'll be something that comes next that's going to have a higher, um, not, uh, God, I'm going blank here. I'm sorry. I'm just, again, it's just, you have to, I don't know. Totally lost what I was saying. It's totally gone. I hate that. I really do. But anyway, it just, oh, I know. I believe there's going to be another thing that comes along that will be have a lot higher attrition rate, is what my guess is going to be. That will not surprise me if something like that happens. Okay. You know, Alex the Gamer says another virus release will depend on how compliant we are. Well, and that's exactly it. I mean, but if they have something that has a much higher attrition rate, uh, I think that it's going to be scare tactics. Are we to expect anything else? Exactly, that's true. So, but anyway, so there's an Ebola outbreak in China. I know there in China. They just shut down a city of like 9 million people. But thank God the Chinese are so proficient that they've lost what, like less than 100,000 people altogether in a country with 1.4 billion people. I believe that. I'm sure that they wouldn't lie about the numbers, right? Just like other countries wouldn't lie about the numbers by saying they were much higher than they actually are. No country would do that, right? They wouldn't be dishonest with us. They're telling us the truth. So interesting, just interesting. But like I said, these are just questions. I like to have questions. I believe that everything should be questioned. That's just me. I just think that I look at things and I just go, how does any rational person believe what's being fed to them? That's what blows me away. But of course, if you don't go along with the constructed narrative, whatever that may be, for whatever thing that is being pushed, right? Then you are a conspiracy theorist. You're crazy. You're spreading false information. You are going to have your videos. You're going to have your videos, shut off, and you get a strike, and all these type of things. Again, it's a way to control people, and so it's what am I doing here? Okay, it's a way to control people, and I just think that Jen Boyle said, "Nice preps in your video today." Oh well, thank you. You know, somebody just said China are liars. Let me clear that up for you. All countries are liars. They will never see. What amazes me even more is so. Here, let's talk about Putin for a second. We're going to get into and all these things actually kind of come together anyway. Let's talk about Putin for a second. Isn't it amazing? Where now, well, a doctor was monitoring Putin and looking at him on video, and it looks like he could have Parkinson's. I mean, why all of a sudden, Putin's been how long? So, does anybody know this answer? Because I honestly don't know the answer. So I'm going to ask you guys, and if somebody knows the answer, let me know in the comments. How long has Putin been the guy in Russia? How long has he been the number one guy? Okay, and that's a question that I have because I don't know the answer. I know he's been in charge for quite a long time over there, but I don't know what the answer is. So in all this time that Putin's been in charge over there, I mean, there's always the Cold War rhetoric that's always going to happen. So, China bad, Russia bad. That's a narrative. Um, 20 plus years at least. Yeah, I know it was a long time. I know it's a long time. So if somebody could look it up, I would appreciate that. So, but anyway, so he's been the guy for a long time. And again, before then, he was in the KGB. You know what I mean? So it's Mary Adams. I said that. She goes, correction that all governments are liars. I said that. That's exactly what I said. I'm getting all kinds of answers here. Uh, okay. Well, it's been a long time. Now all of a sudden, because he has gone into Mountain Kayaker regarding the people who believe MSN. Mark Twain said, "It's easier to fool the people than to convince them that they are being a fool." Yeah, that's a good point. Very, very good point. Thank you so much for the donation. And that is a great statement, too. Thank you. Russia term is 6 years, 2012 on Google. So, okay, so that's 10 years. He's been there 10 years in charge. All right. And now all of a sudden, now he is mentally unstable. I'm sorry, folks. If people who live in glass houses should not throw stones. We have a president here in the United States that can't even put a sentence together. There's a premier in Canada that cries and said, "Oh, I'm so sorry that because he's an actor or does plays." That he dressed in blackface when he was in high school. My God, how awful of him! And then he dressed up as an Arab because that was the role, right? And but he's going to cry and say, "I wasn't thinking," and "Oh, I should have never done that," and it was wrong. You're playing a character. If I am playing, so here I'm going to give you a great example. Okay, Uncle Ben's rice, right? Remember everybody knows Uncle Ben's rice. So they had to change the label now. Had to change the label. Or I'll even go one better, Aunt Jemima from Mrs. Butterworth there, or what the lady on the bottle, Mrs. Butterworth, or Aunt Jemima, right? If I'm going to play a character of Aunt Jemima and I'm dressed like a man in white, does that represent the character? Does it? Does it make sense? But if I was dressed like a woman and put on blackface and played the role of Aunt Jemima, does that make any kind of sense to people, right? That, oh my God, yes, now you kind of look like the character you're portraying. I don't get these people. I really, really don't get these people. It makes no sense. Makes no sense to me at all. You're going to apologize for something that you did in high school, and he's a drama teacher. I think that's what he was, wasn't he? A drama teacher. So yeah, he's good at drama. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, it's called makeup, exactly. So I don't get it. But I don't see the Wayne's brothers apologizing for pretending to be two white chicks in a movie. Oh my God, that they were appropriating, pretending to be white women. Isn't that awful? Where's that apology? It's so stupid. It is beyond ridiculous to me. Okay, if you are an actor or if you're playing a character, who cares? Now, if you go out every Halloween as a Ku Klux Klanman, then I think that there's a problem. Okay, but that's not what these people are doing. So that movie's a classic. It is a funny movie, but it's gotten to the point of beyond ridiculous, especially in our yes, at least Jesse Smollett is in jail. Oh my God, I laughed. So he's obviously I never saw Empire, so I didn't see him in there as an actor. But his acting in the courtroom was horrific. I would not even give him a good review on his acting. And here let's clear something up, okay? So he got 150 days, right? So he got 4 months or 5 months. I'm sorry, 5 months. So he got 5 months in jail, right? But they call it, oh my God, he got 5 months in prison. No, no, he did not. Because I'm going to give you an example of something. I used to work over at Monroe County Jail in Rochester. It was over by MCC Hospital. I was doing agency work, and they had the jail right by Monroe Community Hospital. So if you were downtown in Rochester, and then you got your sentence, and if you got less than a year or under, you went to the county jail. You didn't go to prison. You got less than a year. They put you over there and then on top of that, you get a day for a day. So even though he was given 150 days, he'll only serve 75, and then he will be a sexual retreat, right? And he's gay, so he don't care. You know what I mean? But it's just. But again, he's going to do 75 days, and then he'll be out. You know. Yeah, the judge said he actually had to do jail time. Yeah, but again, like I said, he'll do 75 days and then he'll be out. But his whole thing, I'm not suicidal. I am not, I am innocent. No, obviously, apparently you weren't. You faked a hate crime. Now, if a white person did that, and let's just be clear, if a white person faked a hate crime, boy, they would be ripped apart in the news, ripped apart. But because, it doesn't fit that narrative, but he wasted. Well, here's the thing that I think people need to really truly understand: when you fake something, when you fake something, you're wasting the department's resources, you're wasting their time because they have to really go in and follow through and get all that information. So thing is, he got caught. They found out the truth, and so it was crazy, just absolutely crazy. So it just my grandpa got 6 months for colored fuel in tractor on the highway. I don't know what you mean by that, but yeah, it's like so just the whole premise of oh my God, he's going to go to prison. When they see these Hollywood types and they get 6 months or whatever, oh, well, they went to prison. No, they don't go to prison. They go to the county jail. They're probably put in segregation because of their celebrity. They wouldn't be put in there with the general population. The only one that, like, okay, so now there is somebody who actually went to prison, and that was Robert Downey Jr. And he actually went to prison, and I don't think that went so well for him. So, anyway, I do not think you can drive vehicles that used red fuel on the highway, farm use. Oh, I don't know. I have no idea. No idea. Oh, colored fuel can only be used in farm tractors, not in vehicles. I gotcha. Colored fuel on the highway means it's off-road fuel, no road taxes charged. Ah, well, heaven forbid that they do that. cheat the system that's cheating all of us. All right. So anyway, what are we at? 696 in the chat. We're at 226 on the thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I would ask you to please do so to show support for the channel, and thank you ahead of time for that. Also, it really does help with the algorithms, and it definitely makes a difference with that. So I do appreciate that. It pushes us up higher in the rankings. So thumbs up, comments, all that, it all helps. So I do appreciate that. Again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, please subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So thank you ahead of time for that. But yeah, I will be. I'm going to go back to my weight for a second, okay? And I know I talk about being physically ready and stuff like that. Every winter since I can remember, now, well, let me rephrase that. Every winter since I got older, once you hit that 30 mark, your metabolism changes just a little bit. And if you are not as active in the winter as you are in the summer, the weight comes on. So I am in that phase right now where I'm definitely way too heavy, and I don't like it. So, are we all signing a get well card for Obama? Oh, absolutely. Not that he would get preferential treatment when it comes to treatment to get better. So it is crazy, guys. The whole thing is absolutely crazy. Now you think about food, the pounds pile on. Yeah, right. I hear you. I hear you. Yeah, Putin had a choice between war or nuclear. And he chose war. Exactly. He hasn't pressed that button. A crazy man would have pressed the button. So, not to say that that will not happen yet. I hope it doesn't. I hope people are smart enough to realize that that's not going to end well for anybody. But Alex the Gamer said, I thought Democrats don't get COVID. That's too funny. No, well, the ones that don't get COVID is protesters, especially if they're on the left. The left protesters they don't get it. But heaven forbid you go Sturgis. Oh my goodness, that's going to be a huge thing and definitely a spreader. So if you like I said, if you watch the different stuff, none of it makes any sense. None of it makes any sense. So, but anyway, that's yeah. I get so aggravated. You guys, you have no idea. And because we are so restricted on what we can say and what we cannot say, uh, you know, I have to always be very, very careful what I'm saying. So, but like I said, I am just going to live my life. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm not going to live in fear, and so that's kind of how I roll. And what do you think about the bioweapon labs in Ukraine? I don't know, Robert. That's a good question. I haven't seen a lot of information on that. Have they admitted that we had bioweapons labs over there? That would be a question that I have because I really don't want to speak on it because again, I don't want to be accused of spreading false information. But I had heard obviously that there was like 8 of 11 bio labs that got hit. Now I don't know if that's true. I don't know if it's not true. You know, Randy Roman says I don't think all those labs were that innocent. Yeah, you just like I said, if they had them over there, would it surprise me? No. Um, I'm just looking to see what people said, but yeah, those that I heard that Russia took out 8 of them out of the 11. I think that there was. The undersecretary let the cat out of the bag and said we did have labs. Ah, okay. Well, like I said, I'm not going to say that I've heard that story. Okay. Would it surprise me? It would not surprise me at all. being targeted by Russia would not surprise me at all, especially if they felt that things were being done underhanded. So that's kind of the way I'm just going to put it, that way. But yeah, it's not, nothing surprises me anymore. We, the United States of America, are not the innocent country, the do gooders, the saviors, the heroes that we are portrayed in our media to be in whatever situation, right? That's we have blood on our hands. There's absolutely no doubt about that whatsoever. You know, if we don't like a government that's in place, we will do things. See, and the thing is, what people don't understand is you don't always have to go to war to change a government. You can go into the country, support insurrection, support uprising of people, and those type of things to facilitate that change. But the money behind that, and the special ops and the CIA and all those type of folks, uh, they're the ones that would be behind something. If we decided we didn't like the government that was in charge, so those things do happen. They happen all the time. So, you know, it's is it surprising? Was it shocking that the U.S. would try to dictate what other countries can do? It shouldn't be. We've been doing it for a long time, you know. So when you're the biggest bully on the block, you pretty much can spin things the way that you want to spin them. I think so. I'm going to use an example of something. Use an example of something. So, what do you guys hear in the news media generally, the regular news media? What do you hear negative about Bill Gates? What do you hear negative about the Bill and Gates Foundation? Do you really hear anything bad about that? Do you generally? Not so much. You know why? When you have Bill Gates is your benefactor, when Bill Gates is your benefactor and you are a news station and he's donating umpteen numbers of millions of dollars to that news station, you don't cut off, or you with the bite the hand that feeds you. You don't bite the hand that feeds you. So they won't report negative stuff on him because he's funding them. You know what I mean? So I mean, it's these people, guys. I got to tell you, these people are brilliant in what they do. They are brilliant. So yeah, because he's in their club and we're not. Well, like I said, he's making sure he has enough money. He has enough money that he can do whatever he wants to do, and that's what happens. Shasta Fogg says bioweapons were lies last week. Surprise. Well, again, exactly. It just until it is found out to be true, then you're spreading false information, and you get in trouble. But then when the truth comes out again, there's never an apology. There's never a strike taken off, or you're never going to be compensated for what you reported on here on YouTube or talked about here on YouTube. That's not how it works. So, that is really interesting. Bill Gates' own words. So Jay Meyer says Gates is behind all the pandemic, trying to control the population. Bill Gates, in an interview, said, and thank you for that statement, and I wanted to share this with you guys real quick. In an interview, Bill Gates said, in the future, we will control the populations through vaccinations. That came out of his mouth. That's not false information. That is a fact. You can go look it up. He had a discussion about that. So it's something to really think about. If somebody in a position of extreme, extreme power can sit there and say that type of thing, that's kind of frightening if you think about it. It makes you want to go get right in line and say, hey, hit me up, right? Because I trust you. You wouldn't lie to me. You wouldn't intentionally try to hurt anybody. Of course not. So it's using your brain. It's using your brain, and not feeding into the hysteria. Again, I think the media, the news media, social network platforms, when you suppress information constantly, it pushes people more instead of having an open discussion, instead of saying, well, wait a minute, what do you think about this, or what do you think about that? Options, right? Different way of looking at a situation. And when you are shut down for having a difference of opinion, when you are punished because you question whatever the narrative may be. And again, I'm not trying to narrow it down and say it's this narrative or it's that narrative, because I don't want to do that, because it's like that would be, sticking my head in the noose. But what I'm saying is whatever narrative is being presented, if they say this is the truth, my thing is always going to be, well, let me look on that, not just what they're feeding me, what is really going on. So, you know, it is it is definitely something that you got to pay attention to. You really got to pay attention to it. So that's kind of where I'm at. I question it all. I look at it and I go, okay, how realistic is this? Because I will tell you this. I remember. See, I have a good memory on certain things. I mean, sometimes I can't remember what I did yesterday, but certain things stand out to me. And the news anchor, and I'm trying to remember her name there. She looks like a man. God, I can't think of her. She got the real short haircut. Um, oh man, I can't think of her name. Somebody's gonna tell me in here. You guys know who I'm talking about. She's on like CNN or something like that. Uh, she's a lesbian. Not that it makes any difference. Who cares what her sexual orientation is? But Rachel Maddow. Thank you very much. See, you give a couple of clues and everybody has the answer. Thank you so much. Okay, so Rachel Maddow sat there on her platform again. Said, if you get this, it stops it. You can't spread it to anybody else. You can't get it, and you won't spread it to anybody else. Do you guys remember that? Do you guys remember that? I sure do, right? I sure do. But yeah, angry little man. Yes, she's something. But that was false information that she gave, because at first we had breakthrough cases. Remember that? It was breakthrough cases, and then they had to switch it up. Had to switch it up because there was so many breakthrough cases that we had to change the narrative. And that's what happens. And that's where you come with a narrative that they have now. So the president said that too. Yeah. So, um, you know, yep, exactly. Mom Bear said yes, and then they changed the narrative. Yeah, of course it did, because once it is found out that something is inaccurate, information that you are being fed to the public is inaccurate, and people look at it and go, "Hey, wait a minute, that's not true." Then their credibility is gone. So we have to change it. Oh, well, wait a minute. Nope. So no. So this is what happens now. So just so and it's just, it is so beyond ridiculous to me. To me it is. And that's just where I'm at. So, but and again, I am not telling you, um if you want to go do something and comply 100%, I'm not going to tell you you're stupid or you're bad. It's free will. You have a choice. Okay, you can either go along to get along, or you cannot. It's perfectly your choice. So actually, Heather is over John next door. I will show you a hella sighting though. No, that's the yeah. Well, that's not Stella, but that's there's a Miss Molly, and of course there's Mr. Max. I don't know where Stella is at the moment, but Heather is next door watching a 90 Day Fiance or some crap. I don't even know, with her aunt. So it's their like bonding time, and she's making cookies over there. So that's what she's doing. So uh so that is that. But love that show. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Why would you? I mean, here's what I truly don't understand. Okay, you have all these individuals, male and female, incarcerated, um, and they start talking to all these different people, and these women and men, both of them, do it. Oh my God, I love this person. You know, we all make mistakes, and I'm not judging anybody that's in jail. I'm not. That's not what I'm doing when I'm saying this. I don't. You know, we all have made mistakes. It's what you choices you make. You know, once you get out and stuff like that. But unfortunately, if you look at the attrition rate of people that have been in prison that end up going back to prison, it is extremely high. A very small percentage of them get out, don't go back to what they were doing before. Because when you take somebody, all right, and I live in neighborhood A, right? I live in neighborhood A, which is a bad neighborhood, and I do stupid things and I go to prison. When you get out of prison, do they put you in neighborhood B, which is nicer and better, and so you can be away from the people in prison or in area A? No, they put you right back in area A, you know. So that's why you have such a high percentage of people, because you go back into your same neighborhood, you're back to hanging out with the same people you were hanging out before. And if you really didn't care about going to prison, that's what happens. So it's unfortunate, but it is absolutely the way it goes. So anyway, so that is that. Yeah, I don't like reality shows either. I think that a lot of them are staged. A lot of the drama is staged because that's what gets views. You know what I mean? Oh, I'm talking, yeah, 90 day. I'm talking 90 life after lockup is. Well, she's watching one. They watch 90 Day Fiance, or they watch Love After Lockup, and even the 90 Day Fiance stuff. We live in a country of 300 million plus people. You can't find somebody here. You got to go over to some other country and find somebody. And of course, you know, if you know, me being old and fat, right? I'm gonna go over to Ukraine and get me like a 25-year-old smoking hot Ukrainian woman, but she loves me and she wants to come here and she wants to marry me because you know I'm her type 100%. Oh, I believe that. Sure, it's ludicrous to think that way. It's so stupid to think that way. They don't care about you. They want that green card. It happened to my buddy. I'll tell you what happened to a buddy of mine. Good dude, worked hard. You know, just not wasn't big in the whole dating scene and stuff like that. And so he had a friend of his that had a mail order bride, if you will, from China. And so he went. He met a relative, went over. They started corresponding. He went over to China, um, and went to the village where she was. And a lot of the people that where this village had never seen a white man before ever. You know, hadn't seen anybody but you know Chinese people. You know, you live in a small village in the middle of China, you see nothing but Chinese people, right? Um, so he ended up marrying this girl. He came back to the United States, and then he went through the process and got his new bride over here. So she was over here. Uh, Now they're married. As soon as she got her green card, gone. As soon as she got her green card, she was gone. So you know, and I'm not saying that's the case every time. I'm not saying that that's the case, you know, every time, but it is the case in a lot of cases. So again, I live here. I don't want somebody from some foreign country. I'm sure there's awesome people over there, but the headache of trying to get connected with somebody from a foreign country is just it's insanity. And I understand why the State Department does what they does or does what they do, because they know that the majority of these people are just looking for that, you know, get out of their area wherever they are for whatever way that they can. So lonely old men with too much money usually mail order brides. You're right. You're right, Cyber Voyager. You're 100% right. Um, you know what? It's I don't get it myself personally. You know, since me and my ex went our separate ways, I've had a couple girlfriends and stuff like that, but I'm comfortable. I'm okay. You know, if somebody came along and I met the right person, great. You know what I mean? I'm not going to say never, but I do what I want to do when I want to do it. I don't have to answer to nobody. I don't have to please anybody and say, "Oh, honey, you know, listen, I want to go and do this." Or no, I just do what I want, and I like that. I'll be honest with you. You know, there was an article, and they were talking about. um, what's his name? The Matrix guy, the actor, does the John Wick. I can't. I'm Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves. Thank you. I got it before you guys got it. So Keanu Reeves. I asked him. They said, "Aren't you lonely?" Because and it's and his answer was perfect because basically he said, "No, I'm not lonely," because he has a life and he does what he wants to do. Once you're out of a relationship for a long time and you get comfortable with what you're doing and what your life is, getting into a relationship at that point, that's hard because you are so used to doing and having the freedom to do whatever you want to do. So that's kind of where I'm at. Um, you know, yeah, and a lifestyle too. Right, exactly. Joan T said, "Yep," and like this lifestyle too. Yeah, I mean, when you are living off grid, and you're doing differently than the rest of society is, a lot of people are never going to understand that. They're never going to understand that. Drops Family Garden. My wife passed 5 years ago. I miss her. You know what? And I completely understand that. That's got to be a very, very hard thing. Got to be a very, very hard thing. And I'm sorry for your loss. I've seen people, they've been together, you know, forever. And then one passes, and I couldn't even imagine what that has to be like. It's like losing part of who you are. So, if you had a good relationship, I mean, my grandparents were married. God, what were they married? 47, 48 years, something like that. It was a long freaking time. Might have been over 50 when my grandfather passed. But, you know, lost my dad just a few months shy of my parents' 50th. Wow. Yeah, see, and that's tough. And that's tough. And that's hard. It's hard on the spouse. Well, you look at Johnny Cash and June Cash. I mean, she died, what was it, 4 months later? He was dead. Now, that happens a lot too. That happens a lot too. So, I don't miss traveling with my ex-husband. Enjoy traveling by myself, mountain kayaker. Well, and here's the thing, guys. And realistically, like now, I have my daughter. She lives with me full time, as you guys know. Um, I love that. If I want to do something, I'll say, "Hey, Head, you want to go?" Yeah, I want to go. Um, so I have somebody to hang out with, where and it's family and it's nice, and or like even going on a motorcycle, and Becky and Heather are fighting over who's going to get the ride. You know what I mean? So it's just it's that's kind of where I'm at with it. I just do my thing, try to mind my own business, and yeah, they die of a broken heart. Exactly, Brad. Yep, good. Yep, and that's exactly what it is. In that story with June Carter Cash and and Johnny Cash. I mean, it's an amazing story. And then once they finally got together, they were together the rest of their lives. So it is amazing, how that works out. But all right, anyway, being single equals less less laundry, unless you have children. Unless you have children, especially a daughter. Yes, because when Heather was off to college, I did not have a ton of laundry to do. But for some reason, with girls, there's a lot of laundry. So, ah, so anyway, guys, and I'm just blabbering along here. We got what 890 in the chat. We're at 423 on a thumbs up. If you have not shot a thumbs up yet, I'm going to ask you to please do that to show support for the channel, and thank you ahead of time for that. Also, it really does help with the algorithm. So the more interaction that we have, the better it is for the channel. So I thank you for that reason as well. Also, again, if you are not subscribed to the channel, I would ask you to please subscribe. Make sure you hit that bell icon to get all notifications as well. So, and it is, well, we'll go ahead and do egg time now, Mary Taylor. It is like 1 minute away. So, because if I get talking about something else, it'll be a lot longer than that. So, yesterday, I'll give you yesterday's count. Yesterday, well, let me tell you the story what happened yesterday first, and then we'll go into today's egg count. So, yesterday, I go out and I'm looking, and I only ended up getting like 3 eggs. And I'm like, man, that doesn't seem weird because the day before had been a short egg day. And it usually is you have a big egg day, short egg day, big egg day, short egg day. So I'm like, man, I can't believe I only got 3 eggs because the day before I think it had been like 2 or 3 eggs. And my nephew, my great nephew's here, which is my sister's grandson. And her and him had gone out there, and she goes, "Oh yeah, by the way, Ed," she says, "we went out and we collected 5 eggs today." So we ended up yesterday's egg count was 8. So and no, thick neck did not lay yesterday. So what is your guesses for today? I'll give you guys a minute to get your guesses up there, and we will go from there. All right. So today's egg count, if you had the same guess, is Wanda Emery. Emery, I think is how, if I mispronounce the last name, I apologize. 3 eggs. We only ended up with 3 eggs today. And no, thick neck did not lay. Wanda said that thick neck laid, but she was wrong about that. But she did have the right guess. No thick neck egg today. It was cold though today. I mean, it was. They never got out of the run today. They had, but so yeah, we had 3 eggs today, and that's where we're at. So, but like I said, yeah, she don't let Thickneck doesn't like the new man. Well, I'll tell you something that's funny about that. So Thickneck's always been Goliath's girl. He's been his number one. That she's been the number one squeeze since you know I can remember when we got them. They were part of the group of chickens that we got together, and she here's Goliath standing at the other end of the run by himself, and then Thickneck came over and she was rubbing on him, you know, trying to console him and stuff. You could see it. And there was another hen that came over as well, and like the three of them were hanging out. And now, of course, Foghorn Leghorn's walking around like I'm the king of the block. So it happens. It happens. So that's why boys always challenge their fathers. They have to at some point. It's that kind of rite of passage. And sometimes they get their butt stomped in, especially if dad knows what he's doing. Uh, Eddie did it. Eddie did it. So it didn't work out well for him when he did it, but he tried. It's just it's a testosterone thing and stuff like that. So, but anyway, so yes, so that is what we did with that. So and we haven't gotten truly into the discussion of the topic of today's stream. So let's talk about that a little bit. All right. Um, you know, with everything going on, either directly or indirectly, it's going to have an effect on us. When you have Russia that produces, I think it's 75% of all the fertilizer that is used in the world, that's going to affect us. It's absolutely going to affect us. What it should be doing, these different things like this that happen, what it should be doing, it should be making us realize that we need to be independent, making our own things, having our own products, having, instead of getting all of our medications from China and India and those countries, with the majority of our medications come from, yeah, chicken poop is fertilizer. No, there's a lot of other. What I'm talking about, the industrial farms, they use that fertilizer, for that. I don't use. I just use natural stuff, for the most part for what I'm doing here. So, but what the point that I'm making is that we need to, as a country, cut those relationships and have our own things. Now, you don't cut that relationship until you get your own things up and going, obviously, but we need to be more self-sufficient as a country. There's absolutely no doubt. We rely way too much, but you got to understand why. Why is it that this is outsourced and that is outsourced and this other thing is outsourced? It's because these companies, the companies that really run this country, right? They're making huge profits because these countries like China and India, these people aren't making the kind of money that we make here as Americans. So it is cheaper for these companies to outsource all these things. And in that way, they make these huge, huge profits. I mean, because there's never, ever enough. Never, ever enough. So something to think about. Something to think about. And I think that I called FedEx and they answered in Brazil. Appalachian Angel just said that. Wow. Yeah. Yeah. It's just again, we have gotten a. We used to be a manufacturing company or country, a manufacturing company. We had Detroit. Think about Detroit in its heyday, all up and through the Rust Belt and those companies and everything that was being done there, right? Ed, are you aware that Iran sent missiles into Iraq to take out the U.S. embassy there? So we could talk about that for a second, Okie Forge. We will talk about that for a second. Did they really? Hmm? Did they really? Was it Iran? Why would they? What benefit? What benefit would Iran have to try to do something like that? To try to drag us into something? To drag us into a conflict? Okay. Um, it's a good question. And I'm not saying that, yeah, somebody, Joan T just said false flag. I'm not saying it was a false flag. I'm not saying that it wasn't a false flag. But it is definitely something that makes you ponder and go, that's interesting. That's all I'm saying. Uh, you know, but yeah, rabbit poo is the best fertilizer. That is a distraction. Yeah, could be. You know, I've talked about this before, guys, and I've even said it recently. Don't be surprised if you see some sort of false flag event. We have to. What you have to understand is you got to get the nation on board with whatever they're going to put out there, whatever they're going to do. They have to get us riled up, get us on board, and get us rah 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 yay team to go and be able to justify sending young men and women to go die in other countries. So that's what they got to do. So Iran claimed responsibility for it. Cherokee Man said, "I didn't see that part of that. I did not see that part of it. It doesn't make any sense. Iran is not a big enough country that they could do anything to us realistically if we drop the hammer on them. So that's something to think about. If we drop the hammer on them, they would be done. So, and they know that. They know that. But yesterday they said Iran fired on the U.S. embassy in Iraq. Now it's Iraq. Oh, really? Okay. Well, like I said, who knows? Um, but we don't know. That's all I'm saying is don't just don't believe everything that you are fed, because there's always there like just like in a relationship, guys. Okay, when husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend, when they break up, I always tell people there's three sides to every story. And they go, "What do you mean by that?" There's his side, there's her side, and somewhere in the middle is the truth. That's always how it is. Nobody, I don't, and some of you may come on here and be like, "Oh no, no, I'm blameless, completely blameless." Nobody's blameless in a relationship going to crap. Uh, there's something now. I will say this: when there are some people that are just cheaters, and they're always going to be cheaters. So that in that situation, somebody could be blameless, but for the most part, there is, there's always extenuating circumstances of why things went sour. But some people are just cheaters. There's no doubt about that. It's just who they are and how they behave. So, and just being married don't change that. So, yeah, that's with everything, even between countries. Exactly, Vlad K. Exactly. So there is a narrative that we present as the United States. There would be a narrative that Iran would present, and then somewhere in the middle of that might be the truth. You just don't know. But anytime a government says something, it's always the opposite of what they say. That's funny. There's an agenda, always an agenda. Again, they got to get us on board, and it's like what you are seeing now is more and more people are questioning the narrative. They're questioning the information that's being given to us. And that's what they don't want. The people in charge don't want us to question anything. They don't want us to say, hey, wait a minute, this doesn't add up. They don't want that. They want that complete compliance, that complete control over every aspect of our lives. And they're going to do what they can do to get it done. So those are something that you need to think about as well, because that's definitely what's going to happen. Biden press secretary spilled the beans this week. The reason they're jacking up oil prices is to transition everyone into eco agenda and electric cars. Well, that you could figure that out from the very beginning. You know, cyber voyager. That's something that's been basically going on from the very beginning of this administration. They have an agenda, and if they can drive us out of driving because it becomes too expensive. But again, who can afford an electric car? Realistically, number one, how could you afford an electric car? Any of us. They're like ridiculously expensive. So the rich will have electric cars, of course, but the rest of us probably not. Um, and with that, you also have the fact that not enough charging stations. And if you live in the north, those batteries are not going to hold up well in cold weather. That's a fact too. So, uh, right, exactly. Let's all run out and buy a $60,000 electric car. I'm not. I can tell you that right now. I have no intention of doing that. So yeah, the rest of it will be like China. We'll be all on bicycles. Everybody will be riding a bicycle. Yeah, the electric bikes they work pretty good, but when it's 20 below zero with the wind chill, that really wouldn't feel like a real good time. Better get some fat tires on there. Yeah, we don't have the exactly. We don't have the infrastructure to support electric vehicles. Guys, their timeline of getting this thing happening is not going to happen. It's not a realistic expectation. It's just not. So, they're trying to do things. Well, here's our goal. This is what we want to do. But they're like with all new construction, when you're building new construction in these buildings, like New York City, and is a good example. They can't have propane lines and stuff like that going into these new buildings. It has to be all electric now. But again, as all of us know, how reliable is the electric grid? It's not. So that's not sustainable that way either, because our power grid is number one so antiquated it is ridiculous, and it's yeah, and people who live in cities who park on street corners, how do they charge their cars? Exactly, and so those are things. There's way too many obstacles to be able to say that by 2035 we're going to be all on in electric cars. That's not realistic. It's just not. It's never going to happen. So so yeah, I mean, but everything that happens around the world, it has a trickle down effect, and it affects everything for everybody else. I like how they tried to blame the increase of gas prices on the situation with Ukraine and Russia, but gas prices had gone up exponentially before then. Now, obviously, they've gone up way more. California is taxing people $1,000 who bought electric cars, a road tax privilege. Isn't that crazy? California, I mean, I feel sorry for the folks who watch this channel that live in California. New York is right behind you as far as taxes go. They kill us with taxes. So, why do you think you are seeing myself obviously going to be included in that because I'm moving to West Virginia? This is my last winter in New York, folks. I will not be here next winter. As soon as my property sells, I will be waving bye bye to New York without even looking back. I'll come up here to visit in the summer, but I have no intention of ever being up here for a winter ever again. And I do want to mention this too. And people keep saying this, which I think is just, I think it's hysterical because you just, unless you live in New York, you don't know. Okay. And that's the reality. Well, it still snows in West Virginia. Yep, you are 100% right. You 100% right. But not like New York. Not like New York. So like they got snow in West Virginia, um, obviously Saturday. And depending on where you are, You know, it's leave tomorrow to look for properties down south. Go to West Virginia, 80K man. Go to West Virginia, my friend. Low taxes, uh, red state, good gun laws. Weather's awesome, and yeah, and being, I don't dislike the Four Seasons. So that I like the Four Seasons. I just don't like it when sometimes our summers here in New York are basically 6 to 8 weeks of semi nice weather, and then you go down, and then you have 6 to 7 months at times of crappy, horrid weather. I'm tired of that. So, with moving down to West Virginia, yes, it's still going to have the Four Seasons, which I do like the Four Seasons, but winter down there is a joke. I mean, you look at, they just got snow Saturday. The temperature down there today was in the 40s, and tomorrow it's going to be in the 60s. So, we're not going to be in it. Well, I think tomorrow we are going to be in a pretty decent day here. It's going to take time to get all that snow gone again. We had just gotten rid of it after a couple of nice days, but it's just, that's what happens. But all right, so what are we at here? It's time. It is time. JJ's he doing it yet? Let's see if JJ's putting it out there. I don't see it. I can't believe it. We're gonna do shout outs for other channels. We're gonna start out with Icky Can up in Canada. Good guy. Definitely go show him some support up there. Also in Canada, you have Sean James with the Sean James channel and also My Self Reliance. He's amazing to watch. He's a great builder, and I think it's a really entertaining thing to watch. So definitely go and check him out as well. Again, guys, let's get those thumbs up going on this too. I mean, we're slacking tonight on that. Uh, so please show some support for the channel by throwing that thumbs up there. Also up in Canada, you have Canadian Prepper, which he's got a great channel up there, pretty good sized channel. And West Virginia is where the CIA headquarters is. Oh, imagine that. That's interesting. You also have uh, North Shore Preparedness. He's from Canada, so he's up there as well. Go show him some support as well. You have Angry Prepper in New York City. Love his stuff. Love his channel. Hopefully, he's going to be coming down in April to West Virginia. So that'll be fun if he does that. We have Bizariza Jizza also here in New York. You have 80K Man, who's talking about getting out of New York, which I don't blame you at all, brother. But definitely go up and check out 80K Man. He's up in the Adirondacks. You have Pinball Preparedness is another really good channel. A lot of good information with him. Green Greg's is another really good channel. You have Gray Man Prepping. There is God, there's so many channels. Southern Prepper One. He's got a lot of good information on his channel as well. You have Joe from St. Bernard Acres. There is the Uneducated Economist is another channel. You have I got to start looking over here. The Needy Homesteader is another really good channel. Marfugal News with Adam and Dax over on the West Coast. Really good channel over there. You have Wranglestar, Survival Lily. You have Magic Prepper in North Dakota. Doug and Stacy is another really good channel. You have Bear Independent. You have Bushcraft Bear in the Canary Islands in La Palma. You have Alaskan Prepper, who is amazing too. Really good guy, very, very down to earth. I definitely think you should check him out as well. Deep South Homestead. You have Ryan Hall Y'all. Yep, gotta love Ryan Hall Y'all with the weather. You have Corporal's Corner, Bjorn Hansen, a couple other really good channels. A lot of good information. I think I may have said Wranglestar. I don't know if I did or not. Ice Age Farmer, Agenda 2030. Gosh, you have the Nomadic Movement down in Panama, the Green Dream Project out in Arizona. You have Kyle's Cabin up in Minnesota as well. So there's a lot of Adapt 2030. Yep. So Prepper Nation. I don't mean to. Backyard Mama said you always skip over Prepper Nation. It's not on purpose. I promise you. Just I'm trying to remember all the different ones that I can think of off the top of my head, and so that's what I try to do. But anyway, the reality is there's a lot of great channels out there. There's a lot of good information. I do believe we should be supporting each other, and that's why I like to try to do the shout outs. Yep, the Oppenheimer Ranch project with Diamond. Love him, really down to earth guy. He's a little excitable, but he knows his stuff and he knows what he's talking about. He doesn't like people questioning doesn't like his questioning his information. That I can tell you, but he's a good guy. So East Tennessee preparedness. So again, a lot of channels out there. We have Bush Radical, Girl in the Woods, another couple of really good channels, husband and wife. Definitely, we should be supporting them as well. They got information out there, and they're doing it. They're living it. So, I have, and it sounds terrible, and I don't mean to be condescending in any way, but when you have somebody that's living it, that they live off grid, this is what they do. And I love how people will say that the definition of living off grid is, well, you have internet, so you're on grid. No, that's not what I'm talking about. When I'm talking off grid, to me, it's not being hooked up to municipalities. I'm not hooked up to the local water. I'm not hooked up to the local power. That is living off grid to me. I need to have internet, obviously, because of what I do on here. So, that is something totally different. And, but one more kitty show. Okay, real quick, I'll show you. There's little Miss Molly, and then we have Mr. Max. They're the ones that I see in here right now. I don't. Stella was earlier up in the box, so. But anyway, guys, like I said, there's a lot of good information out there. Again, we should all be supporting each other. There's a lot of great channels, and so that is, what we should be talking about. JJ says Appalachia Homestead. Okay, he's throwing that up there. I have not seen that channel, so I can't tell you one way or the other. But I do believe, like I said, again, we should be supporting each other in the best way that we can. So that's why I like to do the shout outs, because it's like, you know, we are, you know, we are a big family, realistically. We're a small niche. If you really think about it, you think about like YouTube, and you think about some of these channels and the stuff that they do, and they get like ridiculous, audience, because like kids toys, reviewing kids toys. There's some kid that makes like $8 million, and I think about that, 8 million bucks for reviewing toys. So every company out there is sending this kid toys because they want them to review that toy, him to play with it and say if he likes it or doesn't like it. But that's what happens. I mean, but with what we do with living off grid and prepping, that is not mainstream acceptable. Obviously, that's frowned upon, looked down upon. We're looked on as crazy people and all those type of things. So, uh, you know, people are going to think whatever they want, but we are a growing community. I do believe that. I can see that happening. It is getting bigger and bigger. And so I think that that's a cool thing. And so people just, I think more and more people are waking up and realizing that things aren't what they seem. So I think that that's important, that people continue to do so. And I think that, and I think they will. I really do. I think that they will. So what are we at? 699 in the chat. We're at 617 on the thumbs up. Well, we got to go. We'll go for 700. Let's see if we can hit 700. I really haven't been on that today because I just been flapping. So, but if you haven't shot that thumbs up yet, let's do so to show support for the channel. Again, it really does help with the algorithm. So the more interaction, the best thing we can do. And I think I just scared away potential neighbors now. Uh-oh. Because of what you're doing. Yeah, it's funny how people, will look down upon you because you're a prepper. And again, so let's talk. We were talking about this earlier in the dating world. All right, what I always told people, I had 3 strikes against me when it came to dating after my ex and I went our separate ways. In the 3 strikes that I had against me, I had my children later in life. So I didn't go at 20 years old and start banging out a bunch of kids. That did not happen. So I was 36 when my kids were born. All right. I remember going to my 20-year reunion, and some of those folks were already grandparents, and my kids were little, you know. So, it's amazing, realistically. But when you're older and you're single, most of the women my age, because that's who I want to date. I want to date women preferably in my age range. Their kids were grown and gone, and they didn't want to deal with somebody that still had children at home. So that was number one strike. Number two strike was my lifestyle, living off grid, and doing what I'm doing. They don't understand it. They don't want to understand it. They don't get it. So that was number two strike. And number three strike was I had an autistic son that has his issues, and they didn't want to deal with that at all. They didn't want to deal with that at all. So I just kind of at that point was like, well, you know what? I'm just gonna just let it go for now, and just raise the kids, and then once the kids are gone, then I'll think about dating. And and then I had met somebody, after that had happened, and that didn't work out, and so it happens. I'm just like, hey, whatever. So, but anyhow, so that is that. So let's do this, guys. I have three autistic sons. Yeah, it's not easy. And I'm going to tell you what, those of you out there that don't have an autistic child that you are dealing with directly, you will never understand. You can have empathy, which is great, but you will truly never understand what it is like for people to not come around because they don't want to deal with your kid because he might have an episode. Family doesn't come around because they don't want to deal with it. And so people just don't get that. They don't understand it, and they never will. So it's just you know to me, my family always has come first, and they always will. And right now Eddie's still living with his mom. He moved there 2 years ago, and so just started his third year in November, and that's okay. I know he's in a halfway safe place. I'll put it like that. Um, but if he ever needs me, I'll be there for him, no matter what. I'll pick him up. I'll bring him down to West Virginia. When I build my house in West Virginia, I will be building a room for Eddie because I do believe that he will be back. That's just my take on it. So, and again, he's my son. Why wouldn't I take him back? You know what I mean? Just because he's difficult, because he's hard, so that's just but again, people that don't have autistic children will never truly understand what it's like um, to try to have a life and have a child that has issues. And there's more than just autism. Obviously, there's a lot of people that have challenged children, medically challenged, medically fragile, and stuff like that. So those people will get it too. But it is a different thing. So anyway, so let's do this. We are Legion because we are many. We are all over the country. We're all over the world. We are a huge network of people. We're a huge family. Where is everybody from tonight? Where is everybody from? Hey, there's Philip from Melbourne, Australia. Tucson, Arizona. Connecticut, Hillsboro, Oregon. Maryland, Franklin County, Ohio. Nowhere, Oklahoma. BC, Canada. Leesburg, Florida. Beech Grove, Indiana. Southern part of West Virginia. Waterloo, New York. We have Philly, Maine. Raleigh, North Carolina. Iowa, Kansas. East Tennessee. Bad River, Wisconsin. Northeast Missouri. Let's see, Central Pennsylvania. Suburb of Richmond, Virginia. Tyler, Texas. uh, Finleyville, Pennsylvania. We have Scotland in the house. Very nice. Glad to have you here. Nebraska, Croatia. Very nice. Glad to have you here as well. Westchester County, New York. Alabama's in the house. Roll Tide. Ulster Park, New York. Short Creek, Kentucky. We got Missouri, Queens, New York. Ontario, Canada. Minnesota. Mississippi is in the house. Israel's in the house. Very nice. Glad to have you here. Colorado, Christmas Valley, Oregon. From Knox, Indiana. Middle of Missouri. Somerset, Pennsylvania. Huntington, West Virginia. Gulfport, Mississippi. Kansas. Um, Port-au-Prince. Northeast Mississippi. Lancaster, Pennsylvania. Alabama. Cape Cod. Ex-New Yorker in Southern North Carolina. I don't blame you, brother. I don't blame you. Chandler, Arizona. Mississippi. Denton, Texas, Arkansas, Lancaster, Pennsylvania, Pennsylvania Wild, Syracuse, New York, Orlando, Florida. Denmark is in the house. Very nice. So, Lucedale, Mississippi. We have California, Huntington, West Virginia, Hamilton, Montana. We have St. Louis, Spokane, Washington. We have Ireland in the house. Very nice. So, again, guys, we are all over the country. We're all over the world. We're a huge, huge network of people. We're a big family, is what we are. We got Maine is in here, Groveland, Massachusetts, Grenada, Mississippi, West Tennessee, Ireland once again, Northwestern Ohio, Southeast Kansas. So, I mean, if you've been listening to the mentioning all over the United States, all over the world, we are just a huge network of people. And again, we're the ones that are awake. We are the ones that can make a difference now, and we can also make a difference in a post event as well. And I think that that's important that we try to do so. I really do. Uh, the difference we'll make in a post event, hopefully, is education, teaching people how to survive, what to do to survive. Because a lot of people, I'm telling you, folks, they don't have a clue. They don't have a clue. And whoever survives that first year, it's going to be the toughest of the toughest that survive that first year, and those that are prepared. And that's going to give you a huge advantage, a huge advantage. So, but that's the difference realistically. The more ready you are, the better your chances of survival in the long run. And I just, why would you not give yourself every advantage? That I never will understand why people don't do that. I really don't understand that. We got 668 for the thumbs up. We're going to try to go for 700. So we need 31. Add reactive attention disorder to the list. Well, again, if your child is compromised in any way, then you understand. You understand. So that is, that's how it goes. Um, if your children have any issues and you're taking care of your children and dealing with them at home, then you would always understand what I'm talking about. The people that have no issues, they'll never understand. They will never get it. So anyway, I want to thank my moderators who do an absolutely fantastic job keeping the chat clean. I do appreciate you guys. You guys are amazing. Uh, and it's important. I want these chats to be fun. I want everybody to have a good time. I don't want to feel like you're being attacked and stuff like that. And so, I do appreciate that. I will tell you this. I get emails occasionally, and they'll be like, your moderators, they blocked me because I had a different view. You know what? My moderators know what my criteria is. I don't have a problem with somebody having a different view. I really don't. But when you come on the channel and you want to try to stir up trouble or cause problems, that's why they get rid of people. So anybody that has been blocked, don't write me because I'm not putting you back on. That's not how it works. Just putting that out there because it's amazing to me. I trust my moderators. I trust my moderators to, know what my wishes are. And like I said, I never had a problem with somebody having a different viewpoint than I do. Never have. And that's okay. But if you go on and you attack other people in the chat or you're saying negative things to somebody else, I don't want that. I don't want that. But that's where we're at. And again, you don't have to agree with everything I say. I don't expect anybody to agree with everything I say. So, just do, you know, if we can find a common ground, that's the important part of this. We're never always going to agree on everything. Nobody is. So, anyway, again, guys, remember ST. Well, I say I'm jumping the gun here. Oh my God, I'm jumping the gun. I'm tired. I'm sorry. My brain has not been working right lately, so we'll get it squared away soon. So anyway, remember that we are all in this together. We are one race called the human race. As soon as we could actually figure that out, we're going to be in so much better shape. So much better shape. We have to stop letting them divide us. If they keep us divided and keep us fighting amongst each other, we will never overcome what they're doing, ever. But if we can come together as a human race, man, we can accomplish anything. There doesn't need to be starvation, especially here in the United States. I mean, it's ridiculous to think, with the amount of food that's thrown out every day, how many people could be fed by that? It's amazing. But also, also remember, guys, hug and kiss the ones that you love. Tell them every single day. Tomorrow is not guaranteed. We never know what's going to happen in life. Tiny James syndrome. Yeah, right. Exactly. Um, tell them every day how you feel. It's really, really important. Life is so short. There's no guarantee. So make sure you tell the people that you care about every day how you feel. Uh, the astronaut being left behind on the space station when Russians leave. Yeah, I've heard about that, and I don't know if that's going to happen or not. They will. We'll see how that all plays out. That could be just a threat for right now. I don't know. You never know. Maybe they will. Who knows? But we have ships too that can get up there, so we'll just send one of ours up there then. You know. But anyway, also guys, remember last but not least, STD, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, and one day at a time. Hey, Pam in Wonderland. Oh, thank you for the heart. I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Um, remember, guys, step, thing, and day. One step at a time, one thing at a time, one day at a time. Whatever you're trying to do, whatever you're trying to accomplish, if you work methodically at it, you can accomplish and do anything that you want to do. The only person that is going to stop you from reaching your goals is you. That's it. Nobody else. Stay positive, stay away from the negativity, and you're going to be just fine. All right. Um, and that's it. Don't let people tell you what you can't accomplish. Set a goal and then make it happen. And it's amazing if you just kind of use that mantra and work at things methodically. And again, it doesn't have to be prepping related. It doesn't have to be living off grid related. It's anything in your life that you're trying to do and accomplish. If you follow that mantra, you can do anything. It is amazing. All right. So we have 716. So we got through 700 with no issues. I hope everybody's doing well. Please be safe. Keep prepping. Keep getting ready. Again, none of us know when something's going to happen. So all we can do is the best that we can do. All right. I will see you guys all tomorrow. I hope you. Oh, I will be live streaming for members only tomorrow night at 8 p.m. for hardcore preppers only. So definitely check that if you're interested. Again, go to my main page, preppernurse1.com here, or YouTube. I'm sorry, YouTube Prepper Nurse One. You'll see the join button. You can join us there and do that. So, all right. So I hope everybody has a great night. I will see you all later. Prepper Nurse One out for now.